Another reason black folks' accents be so thick. Well, a lot of us just got here. While researching my family's history back in 2016, I learned that my great grandmother on my mama's side was born in Alabama. I read everything I could get my hands on about that particular county in Alabama, and that's when I learned about Cujo Lewis. Cujo was born and raised in West Africa, Benin to be exact, which is where a lot of my ancestors were taken from. When he was about 19 years old, he was sold into slavery by other Africans and brought to the U.S. on a ship called the Clotilda on July 9th. A total of 110 of them were brought over. This happened in 1860, so it was actually illegal. In 1808, the U.S. federal government said no to bringing in any more Africans. Now, slavery was still legal. As long as they were already here, it was fine. Bringing them across that water was illegal, though. Slavery was outlawed in 1865, emancipated. So the Clotilda's trip was not only legally and morally wrong, but it was a horrible investment. 5 years after buying these people, they had to free them. Their lives were very well documented too. Even Zora Neale Hurston interviewed Cujo and wrote a book about it. It's called Barracoon. What fascinated me about slave narratives was that I got to read the stories of formerly enslaved people after they were freed in their own words. In those stories, some of them would talk about their parents and grandparents who were born in Africa. What dropped my jaw about Cujo, though, is that because he was brought over so late, he experienced life in Africa, slavery in the United States, emancipation, and Reconstruction. And he experienced all of that as an adult. So his stories weren't passed down or vaguely remembered because he was so young. Nah, he remembered all of it very well. His story is most known because he outlived the rest of them, supposedly. I was determined to visit all that was left of Cujo in Africatown, Alabama. So in 2017, I went. Now imagine how shocked I was when a book dropped the following year. Now I be tapping into Zora and she be talking back. I'm a firm believer that whenever there's one of something, there's more. If there's a few, there's a bunch. And sure enough, not long after, I learned about the Wanderer. The Wanderer was a ship that was originally owned by a white man in New Orleans. Then a white man in Charleston bought it from him. The man from Charleston met up with the white man in Savannah and they made plans to go get some slaves. On July 4th, 1858, they set sail. They brought back 487 Africans and landed on Jekyll Island, which was private property back then. Slave owners in Savannah, Augusta, South Carolina, and Florida. This was another illegal and horrible investment for the same reasons the Clotilda's trip was. The Wanderer was more famous than the Clotilda, though, because it ended up in court after being discovered. The case was talked about all over the country and made the beef between the North and the South even worse. Even President Buchanan had opinions about it. The two defendants, Charles Lamar from Savannah and William Corey from Charleston, had a hell of a lawyer named George Owens who got them off the hook. None of them had an ultimate happy ending, though. 3 years after the case, Owens was committed to an asylum where he died. Lamar was killed in the Civil War, and Corey died of alcoholism alone in a hotel shortly after the Civil War. Even the ship had a bad ending, sinking off the coast of Cuba with a cargo of fruit in 1871. None of this was really that long ago. Cujo was brought over on the Clotilda 160 years ago. Now I'm going to do my best to pronounce this. It's a West African name, so here we go. Salukangi was brought over on the Wanderer 158 years ago. So we got to start referring to the way we talk as improper or broken. Our accents are so thick because, well, shit, a lot of us just got here. Like this reading, you will love the book. So just hop over to cracktea.com to get that and to invest in all the time and love put into research and writing and nowadays recording and reading history lessons like the one you just heard. Then become a Crack Tea patron. I call it a love offering. It can be a one-time or a monthly investment. And just do so at cracktea.com. And I thank you in advance. Peace.